Hello again and welcome to another Warlord Wednesday, the episode of the week where we look at all things bolt action. And today, guys, we are going to be continuing our starter set review series by taking a look at the Fallshirmjager starter army. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this. In case this is the first time you watching one of these starter army reviews, how it works is at first I'm going to go through exactly what you get in the box. Then we'll do a bit more of a deep dive on the kits that you get. So are they early war, late war, newer kits, older kits produced by Warlord Games? And then last we will be going through this starter army and comparing it to other ones that you can buy. So the first thing to mention is that this is going to be a starter army for the German faction in Bolt Action. It allows you to build an elite Fallshirmjager army, and these are the paratroopers of the German armed forces in World War II. This starter army comes with more than enough models for you to build between 1,000 points and 1,500 points worth of Fallshirmjager. That is more than enough for any standard game of Bolt Action. So what do you actually get in this box? Well, you get 36 plastic Fallshirmjager infantry, you get a Flamethrower team, a Panzerschreck team and a Sniper team. They're all in metal. You also get a medium mortar in metal, and you get a Pack 40 in metal as well. And you get 2 vehicles in the starter set. You get a plastic Stug and you get a plastic 251 half-track. Taking a closer look at those Fallshirmjager infantry, they look like a really good kit. They're one of the more modern Warlord Games plastic kits, and you can tell that because many of the weapon options are actually molded into the hands. The early Warlord Games kits had this really big problem of the rifles and other weapons being totally separate to the hands of the models, and that meant you had to go through a really fiddly process of trying to get the rifles to match up with rather vague and loose hand gestures. So it's really good that a lot of the weapons do come molded into the hands. Now on each sprue of infantry you do get a really good mix of weapons, so you find that you've got 3 assault rifles, 2 of which are moulded into the arms, 1 of which is loose. You get 2 MP40s, both of which are moulded onto the arms. You get 4 standard rifles, although interestingly you only have bolt actions, you don't have any of the later Gewehr 43s, and you also have 2 MG42 machine guns. And you get 2 Panzerfaust, one of which is moulded into a hand and the other which is loose. Now I really like this mixture of loose weapons and the moulded ones. The vast majority of the weapons are moulded into the hands, and that's great, makes it a really easy to build process. But you do have just 1 or 2 of those loose weapons, which means you can customize your men and get that little bit of uniqueness and model variety. So overall it's a really good infantry kit. In terms of tabletop viability, this weapon variety is really good. The Fallshirmjager are an elite assault style arm. You're going to want to be getting up close and personal with your opponent, and the fact that you get 3 assault rifles is really good for this, and the 2 submachine guns as well. Germans tend to prefer taking assault rifles over submachine guns. The moment that they get into that historical period, that late war, that mid war where they can take assault rifles, they're going to. So it's really good that they've included more assault rifles than SMGs, because I tend to find as a German player I prefer to take assault rifles first, and then I fill up any spare guys with SMGs. It's good that they've included a few bolt actions as well. You are always going to want that sacrificial guy that's going to catch the first bullet for the squad, so it's good that you've got a few rifles, and the fact it comes with 2 LMGs is really strong, because a good combination for any veteran squad is double LMG. You can stick a double LMG veteran squad into a bit of cover and they're going to hold the line really easily. So I think it's really good, the weapon options they've included in here. It's perfectly suited for an elite style army. Now the important question is this infantry kit going to lock you into a certain time period? Because some of the ones like the Blitzkrieg infantry really mean you can only collect early war infantry with them, and some of the ones like the SS starter sets, like, okay, well this is really locked into a late war style army. For the Fallshirmjager, I find that they can actually be used in any time period. You get enough rifles and SMGs and LMGs to be able to use them in early war. You get enough assault rifles to be able to use them in mid and late war. Now the interesting thing about the Fallshirmjager is, unlike the regular German army that has to wait until the late war to get their assault rifles, they've got to wait until 1944 to get the STG-44, the Fallschirmjäger actually had assault rifles very early on in the war with the FG-42. So it's kind of a soft army perk that Germans get a lot of assault rifles, and it's a further soft army perk for Fallschirmjager that they get assault rifles in the mid-war. They don't have to wait to the late war. So not only can you build this kit for any time period, but if you do build it as a mid-war army, you're going to have a distinct advantage over those factions which are still stuck just with a few SMGs here and there. So I think that the Fallshirmjager kit is a very powerful one, and I think a Fallshirmjager army has the potential to be really good in every time period of the war. Moving away from the plastic infantry and onto the metal support teams, you do get a medium mortar. That is fantastic. I always say that a medium mortar is basically an auto include in any bolt action army, so it's good that they've got one in the starter set. You also get that pack 40. We've seen that in many of the German starter sets now, and it's a really good anti-tank gun to have. Most other armies, especially allies ones, are going to start with a medium anti-tank gun. The pack 40 is a heavy anti-tank gun, so it's a strong weapon. You also get a metal sniper team, flamethrower team, and Panzerschreck team, and this is something we have not seen in other star sets. This is unique to the Fallschirmjäger one, which is we're not getting another third metal heavy machine gun team or medium machine gun team. Instead, we're getting some smaller, more mobile weapon teams. Now, these are really interesting. I think including a Panzerschreck is fantastic. It's one of the best anti-tank options the Germans have got access to. Including a flamethrower team is also brilliant. Flamethrowers are very powerful in bolt action, and they are considered to be overpowered by some, so having one in a starter army is brutal, and then also getting that metal sniper team is pretty nice as well. Often people have to build sniper teams out of the plastic infantry, but including a metal one with a cool bespoke pose is very nice. Now, I did say this didn't come with a medium machine gun team. I have poo-pooed other starter sets for not including medium machine guns in the past. For example, the Blitzkrieg one, and I often have said that, you know, it's not a true starter set without a medium machine gun team. I do think it's a shame they didn't include one, but the fact they gave us these 3 two-man teams instead more than makes up for it. And don't forget, you can always build a medium machine gun team out of the LMG guys that you get in the plastic infantry. If you get a big base and stick an LMG guy on there with 2 other riflemen, you've got a medium machine gun team there. So there are ways to work around it. It also comes with the traditional plastic stug. I think the last 3 starter armies, including this one that we reviewed, have had that plastic stug in it, and it's just a good all-round tank. There's a reason why Warlord includes it in many of their starter armies. It's a classic, iconic German vehicle, and on the tabletop, it's a very solid unit. And we also have the plastic 251, and I do think it's really good that a starter army includes a little bit of transportation. Whilst sometimes it could be nice to get a second powerful vehicle like a Tiger or a Puma, it is also nice when you get that little bit of transportation. And again, it's another iconic classic unit. What German army is complete without a 251 half track? It's just a great, fantastic transportation option. And as I have talked about in many of my videos, transports do open up a whole new level of tactics and strategic play in bolt action. So it is good that you do get one. Just a couple of little details to mention. Like with the other starter sets we've reviewed, the crew for the various weapon teams are unique Fallschirmjager sculpts. Whilst you might get a medium mortar in all of these starter armies, the one for the Grenadiers, the crew manning it, have got different uniforms to the ones for the SS, for the ones for the Fallschirmjager. That's really cool. I like that extra level of detail. You know, they haven't just gone, here's a German Pack 40 with some generic uniforms. They've gone, no, here are the Fallschirmjager uniforms, here are the SS uniforms, so on and so forth. So it's really good that your medium mortar and your pack 40 and all those little two-man teams come with the unique Fallschirmjager sculpts and uniforms. They're going to fit in alongside the rest of your infantry. Also, just want to quickly mention that the plastic stug can be built into any of the stug varieties, including the Stu 42. Basically, you don't glue the anti-tank option in. That longer barrel will slot into the casemate, and so you slot it in when you want to run the anti-tank variant, and you don't slot it in when you want to run one of the howitzer variants. But now let's compare this starter army to some of the other ones you can get for the Germans. So the first one that we're going to compare it to is the Blitzkrieg starter army, and quite frankly, it's better than it. You get as many infantry, you get as many artillery pieces, you get as many vehicles, but the vehicle you get, the Stug, is much better than that resin Panzer, and the infantry you get have way more weapon options, and on top of that, you get all of those two-man weapon teams as well. So quite frankly, despite the fact that these starter sets basically cost the same amount, you are getting better plastic vehicles, you're getting the same amount of artillery, and you're getting more weapon teams and better infantry. Now, in comparison to the SS starter army, I think these two kits are basically equal. Whilst the SS does get the Tiger and the Stug, you can't run both of those in a standard game bolt action. You've got to pick one or the other, but the Fallschirmjager do get to run both of their vehicles, even if one of them is just a 251 half-track. The infantry kits are basically equal. Both come with lots of assault rifles, SMGs, so on and so forth. They're both fairly modern kits with a mixture of loose and molded weapons, which is great. Now, in terms of the team weapons, they both come with the Pak 40. They both come with the medium mortar. The SS1 does come with the medium machine gun, but I think that the two-man teams for the Fallshirmjager one are actually probably overall better than that medium machine gun, because don't forget, you can always build a medium machine gun, but you can't build a Panzerschreck flamethrower team from your SS infantry. So that's just something to be aware of. But overall, I think they're basically equal, and it's going to come down to which style of German army do you prefer. Next up, we've got the German Grenadier starter army, and again, I think this is really, really close. I think that both infantry kits are basically equal. You get a good amount of assault rifles and other support weapons. They've both got a mixture of molded and loose weapons. I think then when it comes to the support teams, that again, it's kind of like with the SS, you both have that Pak 40, you both have that medium mortar, but the Grenadiers do get the medium machine gun, but you can build a medium machine gun from your plastic infantry, but you can't build a flamethrower or Panzerschreck from your plastic infantry in the German Grenadier set. And then it comes down to the vehicles, where it's like, I think this is actually a closer comparison than first thought, because obviously you both get the Stug, that's fine. Some people will then say, oh, but then the Puma is clearly superior to 251. Yes and no. The Puma is a really strong armoured car, probably one of the best ones in the game. But don't forget, you can put your Flamethrower and your Panzerschreck inside your 251 half-track, and suddenly you've got a vehicle that's not just transporting around a bunch of random guys, it's actually transporting around a really potent anti-infantry and anti-vehicle threat. So I think overall, when you take into account the weapon teams can go in the 251, it becomes a really close comparison between that Puma and the half-track. Last but certainly not least, we have the all-important comparison to the Afrika Korps Starter Army. Now, anyone that's watched any of these reviews before will know that I have a big soft spot for the Afrika Korps Starter Army. I think it's one of the best ones that Warlord Games produces. It comes with the same amount of infantry, it comes with the same amount of support teams, but the only difference is it comes with one less vehicle. It comes with a Panzer III and no transport. Now, in other starter armies, I have said that that's not really a big deal, and that actually overall the Afrika Korps Starter Army is better because it's £17 cheaper. All the other starter armies cost £106 and the Afrika Korps only costs £89. Now, often that extra vehicle you get in the starter armies isn't really worth it. You see, it's like with the 251 in the Blitzkrieg Starter Army, it's not really worth it. You haven't got anything decent to put in the 251, and then when you get to the SS starter set, it's like, okay, you do get two vehicles, but you can't use both of them, so it's not actually any better than the Afrika Korps Starter Army. The German Grenadier one certainly is better because you have that Puma and that Stug, and we've sort of said that definitely it comes down to just how much you're willing to spend. You want to have a smaller entry fee with the Afrika Korps Starter Army than the German Grenadier one. And I think that basically the same thing applies here with the Fallschirmjager, because you can use both vehicles, and both vehicles are actually really useful because, again, we're talking about putting those powerful weapon teams inside that 251 transport. I think it actually means that, like with the Grenadier kit, the Fallschirmjager one has two useful vehicles, and all of the units in the kit can be used straight away in your army to make it really powerful. So overall, I would say that, again, it just comes down to, do you want to have a lower price point to get into bolt action? If that's the case, go for the Afrika Korps Starter Army. If you have got the ability to go a little bit further and get those extra units, then buy the bigger starter army and go for either the Grenadiers or go for the Fallschirmjager. I would say, if I was to rank all of them, that Fallschirmjager and Grenadiers go at the top, then sort of Afrika Korps, then SS, and then the Blitzkrieg Starter Army. But that is all of the comparisons that we're going to be doing today. So those are all my thoughts on the Fallschirmjager Starter Army, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you think it's a good starter army, a bad one? Have I missed anything? Make sure you let me know. Also, if I could just do a shameless plug for a moment, if you've enjoyed today's video so much that you think you're going to pick up the Fallschirmjager Starter Army, then please consider buying it from Element Games using my affiliate link down in the description below. If you use Element Games, then you'll get between 10 and 25% off, and by using my link, it allows me to get a little bit of money off Element Games. It doesn't cost you any more. Essentially, they give me a finder's fee for directing a customer their way. So it's a great way to support the channel, and it helps you get a discount as well. On top of this, Element Games has actually given me a referral code, TIM3921, and if you put that in at the end of your purchase, then you will actually earn double store credit for your next purchase. So it's a great way to save money long term. But that's it, shameless plug over. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. And if you've really enjoyed today's video, then please consider signing up and becoming a channel member or Patreon supporter. It makes a huge difference. It allows me to cover more game systems like bot action and not just to focus on Warhammer 40k. And I just want to take a moment to do a shout out to our latest channel members and patrons. So a massive thank you to Jesse Patton, Andrew, Daniel Shepherd, Matthias Moller, Tomo975, Ken K, Radiation Pony, and the KS Lord. Thank you guys for becoming channel members and doing your part. Also a big thank you to the latest Patreon supporters, so thank you to Brian Jones, Kevin Morgan, Marshall, Ven Diesel, Goodwin Games, and Museum Fremen. Thank you guys for signing up on the Patreon. Your ongoing support is truly greatly appreciated. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a massive thank you to all of my top tier Patreon supporters. These are the War Masters. They have gone above and beyond the call of duty when it comes to supporting my channel, and I am truly eternally grateful to them. So thank you so much, and a big 07 in the chat for Lucidium, Navy Veteran, Philip French, Ross Miller, Alex Dengal, John Stubbs, Nicholas Walsh, Swordfish Trombone, Diesel Fox, Tom Sutton, and August Varney. Thank you guys, I really appreciate your support, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.